How may I help you?
I want to open a staking account.
The chairman awaits you.
Welcome to GSB. Here are your staking options. Are you ready for staking? Now you are ready.
All right, hello, hey everybody. Hey, this is Daniel Higgins coming to you live and in living color. So listen, guys, I want to jump in here and share some great content. I'm going to be all out. Definitely congratulations to the Milwaukee Bucks. They did a great job. I love basketball. Definitely something that I used to play all throughout my lifetime growing up in New York, right? But we're sharing some content today. It's going to be pretty dense and it's going to be pretty aggressive. That's another reason why we're shooting a little bit later than normal, right? So this content, listen, you need it, all right? It's going to be a punch to the stomach, or it's going to be, ripping off the Band-Aid. It's going to be a little bit of that going on tonight, today, this afternoon, just depending on where you're at in this world we live in. But first and foremost, before I get way ahead of myself, this content is for the dreamer. This is for the person who's like, man, there's something a little off in the world. I can't really place my finger on it. I want to do better, but there's something I feel is holding me back. Maybe it's something going on with a system. Maybe it's something going on with me. You don't know what it is. You just like, man, maybe there's something going on that I'm not aware about, right? But I want to tap into something. I want to do better. I want to be exposed to great information that might shock me into moving forward into something new, right? So I'm going to give you two resources that I want you to get into, that I want you to tap into, right? So actually, I'm going to tell you several resources to get tapped into, right? So one is the Hidden Secrets of Money series by Mr. Mike Maloney. I'm going to play a short clip of that series, okay? It's a long series, but the first 10 episodes of the Hidden Secrets of Money will give you a foundation about the financial arena that most education will not give you. All right. Another amazing resource that you want to get is Fake by Robert Kiyosaki. All right. He talks about fake money, fake assets, and fake teachers. This is so important for your financial future and your financial now. You don't even know, but you will know soon. Right. Another resource that I'm going to play for you in just a few minutes is the 401k Fallout, which is a literal documentary and a report from 60 Minutes. All right. It is old, but people are still using and tapping into a system that is broken and fallen, right? So for the dreamers that are listening to this, for the people who say, man, I want to do something better, I want to do something different, I feel like there's something off, I don't really know what it is, I followed the rules, I did the school stuff, I graduated from college, things are still not working the way that I expected it to work out, and I'm wondering why. Why is this not working? You're actually connected to a broken system. So what is the alternative, right? I'm going to actually show you where you're at right now. Don't feel bad. I didn't know this information until I started being exposed to more superior information from our Wealth Builders Worldwide family and team, right? So I'm not an expert in anything here. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't play one on TV and don't play one in real life. All I'm doing is going to expose you to some content from some very sharp individuals that have already done the research. Now, another amazing book that you want to get is, let me see which one, The Creature from Jekyll Island, right? You want to get that book, or you want to listen to that book, or listen to the speeches by Mr. Griffin, the author of that book, because he's going to walk you through the system that I'm about to show you, the Federal Reserve System. That's what we are currently connected to. That's the system that everyone is participating in right now. By default, you were born into it. You didn't get an option. You didn't get a say. You didn't get a vote. And guess what? That system was not created with your best interest at heart. It was not. It was created by some elites that wanted to make sure that they kept control over the money supply. But you don't know that yet until you get connected to the information, right? So right here, let me go ahead and cue up the Hidden Secrets of Money. This is episode 4. I want you to take your time and hear this clearly. And then also, I want you to take your time to listen to this on your own. So I'm giving you some study guides, right? I'm giving you some pointers and some study guides, right? All right, so let me pull this up here. Hold on one second here. All right, let me do that. And I'm going to pull this up right here. Now, Mr. Mike Maloney is going to walk you through our current system. This is what we're currently connected to.
Very few people do. It is purposely complex. The economist John Maynard Keynes once wrote, "By this means, government may secretly and unobserved confiscate the wealth of the people, and not one man in a million will detect the theft." I believe that presented correctly, anyone can understand this system, regardless of how complex it is. So let's do a recap and break it down even more. The way the system works is that, step 1, the government creates glorified IOUs. These bonds increase our national debt and put the public on the hook to pay it back. Step 2, IOUs are swapped to create currency. The Treasury sells the bonds to the banks. The banks then turn around and sell our national debt at a profit to the Federal Reserve, which they probably own. The Federal Reserve then opens its checkbook that doesn't have a penny in it and buys those IOUs with IOUs that it writes, checks, on a checking account that has a zero balance. Then they give those checks to the banks and currency just springs into existence. And then the whole process repeats. This results in a buildup of bonds at the Federal Reserve and currency at the Treasury, which is really just a supply of numbers. The Treasury then deposits the numbers in the various branches of the government, and we get to step 3. The government spends the numbers on promises, public works, social programs, and war. Then the government employees, contractors, and soldiers deposit their pay into the banks, and we get to step 4, where the banks multiply the numbers by magically inventing more IOUs through fractional reserve lending, where they steal a portion of everyone's deposit and lend it out. That currency gets redeposited, and then a portion is stolen again. And the process repeats over and over, magnifying the currency supply exponentially. Then we work for some of those numbers, which brings us to step 5, where our numbers are taxed. We pay tax to the IRS, who then turns our numbers over to the Treasury, so the Treasury can pay the principal plus the interest on bonds that were purchased by the Federal Reserve with a check from nothing. Then we get to step 6, the debt ceiling delusion. The system is designed to require ever-increasing levels of debt and will eventually collapse under its own weight because politicians always kick the can down the road. They don't want it to collapse on their watch. And finally, step 7, the secret owners take their cut. The world's largest banks own the Federal Reserve. Those banks make a profit selling our national debt to the Fed. They make a profit when the Fed pays them interest on the reserves held at the Fed, and the Fed pays them a 6% dividend on their ownership of the Fed. This system is fundamentally evil. It funnels wealth from the working population to the government and the banking sector. It is the cause of the
So he just laid it out right there. This system is fundamentally evil. It does not have your best interest at heart. And that's the system that we've been connected to and we're used to. It is a debt-based system. And it requires more and more debt for it to run. That's why he's saying, hey, this has to collapse under its own weight, right? So what's the alternative to participating in this current system? You got to join a different system, something that's more transparent, because all of this stuff is complex to hide what the governments of the world are doing and what the central banks of the world are doing, right? So it's made to hide that so that people don't ask questions, don't know what's going on, It's hard to figure out where the money is moving, who's the money coming from. Ooh, it's just not a good system to be participating in. Not a good system at all. So if you want the alternative, you're going to need to reach out to us. You're going to need to connect with us. You're going to need to connect with us.
The artificial booms and busts of modern economies, and it causes great disparity of wealth between the rich and the working class. And it is only possible because we no longer use real money, we use currency. But worst of all, it is a form of enslavement. Bond is the root word of bondage. Whenever a government issues a bond, it is a promise to make us pay tax in the future. Nobody asked you if you wanted to pay tax today for the prosperity we all enjoyed in the last century. Nobody is asking our children if they want to work hard in the future to pay for the prosperity we're enjoying now. George Washington once wrote to James Madison, "No generation has the right to contract debts greater than can be paid off during the course of its own existence." By stealing prosperity from tomorrow so we can spend it today, we enslave ourselves and future generations. Now, this all sounds pretty bad, but there is great hope, for you are the greatest threat to this false monetary system. This system relies on the public being ignorant of its workings. Please share this knowledge with everyone you know, because an informed public that fully understands the system can build a better future for generations to come. And now I leave you with this quote, widely attributed to a former director of the Bank of England. "The modern banking system manufactures money out of nothing. The process is perhaps the most astounding piece of sleight of hand that was ever invented. Banking was conceived in inequity and born in sin. Bankers own the earth. Take it away from them, but leave them the power to create money and control credit, and with the flick of a pen, they will create enough money to buy it back again. But if you want to continue as the slaves of bankers and pay the cost of your own slavery, let them continue to create money and to control credit."
Ooh. Man, I tell you guys, when I learned that information, like I said, certain books and certain things you read, certain things you learn, you get upset because you're like, man, I want to make sure that no one else is taken advantage of. I want to make sure that we're protecting the ones that we love. I want to make sure we're protecting people, the next generation and immediate family, friends, all of that good stuff, right? If you have a heart for people, it kind of stabs you in the heart and you're like, man, I got to help people, got to do something different, right? So this information is here to help us make a better decision. You know, Robert Kiyosaki talks a lot about that system. You got a small little 6-minute overview of it, but this book breaks down that whole system even more. And then the Creature from Jekyll Island book breaks it down with actual testimonies from the people who created the system, them talking about how they got it passed in secret, them talking about if it was done in public, it would have never went through. So they purposely did it in secret to ensure that they would have control of the monetary system. That's just one little slice of a broken system. And it talks about our failing currencies. Of course, in that short little clip, our currencies are failing because they're connected to a debt-based system. So you have to have, what's the alternative? What are you going to do differently than participating in a debt-based system? You're going to want to tap into what we have in GS Partners, which is part of the solution. It's not a complete solution to all of these problems, right? I'm not an absolutist, and it's not an absolute solution for everything that's in that clip, because there's a lot to unload. There's a lot of corruption and broken systems, right? That's just one part of the broken system. That's just one part of a broken system. Yep. That's just one part. When you start learning and reading, you're like, man, people are not aware of this. If they were aware of it, they would want to fix it. They would want to help people. So Gold Standard Partner, guys, what is the alternative? We have an alternative. Technology is going to enhance and replace that corrupt system. We're heading up the technology, the blockchain technology that is fully transparent and is going to replace that corrupt system, because there is no secrets on the blockchain. It is an open ledger that shows every single transaction. It still remains anonymous because, of course, it's all coded in terms of, it's not saying Daniel Higgins got this, but it is completely transparent. You know, things that are put on the blockchain can be put on smart contracts, and things can be done in absolute order and completed perfectly. The corruption in voting eliminated. So we have a global solution that we're just tapping into. And when I say we're playing chess on the blockchain, I'm way ahead of myself, and probably some people may not grasp that, but we're harnessing that blockchain to do things that have never been done before. Yep. And it'll take a little time. It'll take a little time. I'm chatting with one of my amazing new business partners, wrapping my head around how the blockchain is a new type of banking system without the corrupt elite. Yep. Now here's another thing that I have to play for you guys. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I have to share this information. I have shared this information before. I just keep taking different approaches when I need to revisit it. Okay, because there's people who don't know this information, and I have to continue to share it in different ways and approach it different ways to do my part in sharing this information with everybody under the sound of my voice. Once you know that there's an alternative, because some people don't even know there's a problem, all right? And that's okay. Some people are completely oblivious. If that's what they got to do, that's what they got to do. But I'm aware of a global issue, and I'm also aware of a global solution. Right? And like I said, it's not a complete solution to solve all the corruption in the earth, because obviously I'm not an absolutist. That would be crazy. But it is part of the solution to bring prosperity to multiple people and not a small select few. Because that's one of the things that he said in that video. He said that we would be enslaved by the decisions of a government. Even if the government is trying to do things the right way, because they're connected to a broken system, it is going to unfortunately translate wrong. Okay. Like there's certain things that governments are doing to try and help people, but at the same time as they're trying to help people, they're increasing their spending. They're tapping into future prosperity. They're tapping into tax return information. They're tapping into, oh, well, hey, you would have got this for tax return, so let's just go ahead and tap into that now and give you X amount of dollars every month. And, you know, there's got to be a bit of a balance. So I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to pull myself back, and I'm going to bring up this short video, okay? Because there is a broken system. You think I'm just sharing it. You think maybe Mr. Mike Maloney's just sharing it. How about 60 Minutes? Do you think 60 Minutes is a credible source? I do. They did a detailed overview of a broken system called a 401k that everyone is participating in. I closed years ago. I closed the 401k, closed that IRA, closed that stuff because of my awareness that I wanted to move away from a broken system, and I moved it into a system that I felt would be more beneficial for myself. And I'm telling you right now, in Gold Standard Partners, woo, this system works. And instead of waiting years to get payouts, we get paid out weekly. I'm talking about passive residual income with no need to recruit anyone. So let me pull this up for you. This
economic crisis have touched everyone, even if you still have.
Start this out a little bit again.
The current economic crisis have touched everyone. Even if you still have a good job and a paid-up mortgage, chances are your monthly 401k statement will remind you that you've lost a good chunk of your savings. Trillions of dollars have evaporated from those accounts that have become the prime source of retirement funds for a majority of American workers, affecting their psyche and their future. If you're still young enough, there's time to rebuild and recover. But if you're in your 50s or 60s or beyond, the consequences can be dire. And it's drawing attention to the shortcomings of a retirement system that's jeopardized the financial security of tens of millions of people. It was a gray, chilly morning in Midtown Manhattan, and a line of unemployed, mostly white-collar workers stretched for blocks around the Radisson Hotel. More than 1,000 middle managers, stockbrokers, consultants, secretaries, and receptionists had come here hoping to find a job.
If you are just arriving, please step this way.
Morning, Signy.
It was called a career fair, but there was no merriment here, only a whiff of desperation.
Do you have any openings in the IT industry?
Many of these people had been out of work for months and burned through their liquid assets, their future even bleaker than the present. Alan Weir, who turned 60 this month, showed us his latest 401k statement, which he hadn't had the courage to open up.
I'm afraid.
You're going to open it now?
You want me to? Let's do it.
There's good reason for his trepidation. Nearly half of his life savings have vanished in a matter of months.
It went down again.
How much are you down overall?
Oh, about $140,000.
Do you think you'll ever get it back?
I would probably never see it come back. I was looking to retire probably when I hit 62. I can't do it now. I'll probably be working until I'm at least 70.
I'm a Microsoft Office diva.
Until she lost her job, Kathleen Coleman had spent nearly 30 years working as an executive assistant on Wall Street. She doesn't have much to show for it.
Tell me about your 401k.
Does this answer the question?
This is what it was in 2005, 2000. And 7, you're down below 2005.
Right. Another one went down almost $40,000. One was
Right.
88,000, and then it went down to like 50.
How old are you?
54, and I live alone. I don't have any children. I've been a career girl all my life, and it's been a great career, and I don't deserve this. I'm sorry.
It's all right. Have you had any nibbles?
All the nibbles I've had, I get beat out by top models who can type. And I have experience and dedication and loyalty, and I can make any boss shine. I can. If you're out there, I'll relocate anywhere for you.
What, psychologically, what does this piece of paper do to you?
Oh, it crushes any rest I may get when I'm 65. I'll have to work for the rest of my life.
The saddest part of this story is that it's being repeated all over the country. In eastern Pennsylvania, 59-year-old Iris Hans lost her accounting job and half of her 401k investments. She's now back in the workforce as a part-time cashier in a grocery store.
Your debit card. You have a great day.
In Dearborn, Michigan, Terry and Donna McNally are barely holding on. He lost his sales job in August. The condo they bought 15 years ago is worth less than their mortgage, and 40% of his 401k retirement savings is gone. Donna is the main provider now.
Let me hear you count to 10. Can you count to 10?
1, 2,
Running a daycare center out of their home.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Are you here for Joan?
Terry considers himself fortunate to have found part-time work greeting the bereaved at a funeral home and making lattes at Starbucks,
There you go.
where colleagues young enough to be his grandchildren have taken him under their wing.
What's the hardest part? I'm no longer sitting in a computer or driving in a car to a call. You know, suddenly I'm standing for 4 to 6 hours and greeting people or making drinks or trying to learn the process and the food business thing, which is very difficult.
It's tough, but I'm proud of him. at his age to be doing what he's doing.
The 401k drop was tremendous, is tremendous at this point in time, and that's where the savings was. That's our hurt right now.
We can't live our vision of our dream of retirement. That's the worst part. Many people can't.
And what was your dream?
Our dream was to have a log cabin up north, Leland area, and just live a nice, quiet life. And we can't do that.
You think you'll ever be able to retire?
I don't
No.
see that day. Can no longer see that day.
What kind of a retirement plan allows millions of people to lose 30 to 50% of their life savings just as they near retirement? David Ray, president of the profit-sharing 401k Council of America and a lobbyist for the 401k industry, says it's one that empowers people to make their own investment decisions.
401k is the absolute best way people can save for retirement. They absolutely are the best retirement vehicle we have.
How can you say it's the best available if it has let down tens of millions of people at the time they need the money the most?
That's not a 401k problem. That is our entire investment system. This is about the markets went down for everybody. Nobody was saved in the current thunderstorm.
Ray says that many people still have more money in their 401ks than they've actually contributed. He says everyone had multiple investment options, including low-yield guaranteed returns, and he believes people who lost money have no one to blame but themselves.
In America, it's a society based on freedom and choice and personal responsibility. We need to help them understand these responsibilities and execute them to the best they can. 401k is part of that. There are no guarantees.
What about the people who are 63 or 64? A lot of those people were thinking about retiring.
Well,
and now they aren't.
Well, I mean,
a lot of them were retired and have to go back into the workforce.
Well, but that was not a 401k problem. That's an investment system problem. The markets go up and down, and if those people chose to take equity risk, there was a logical outcome.
But in fact, the 401k plans that have become
So one of the things that Robert Kiyosaki talks about in this amazing book called Fake is fake assets, right? I really highly recommend that book to everybody on the sound of my voice. And underneath here, he says how lies are making the poor and middle class poor. If you've never made an investment, if you were never showed how, by default, you're probably going to fail. This whole system, Robert Kiyosaki talks about it, everybody was pretty much just herded into investing on their own, and they got a multiple choice questionnaire where you get to pick from a bunch of random things, random investments that you have no clue about and that you have no knowledge about, and you're like, oh, that sounds good, let me get some of that, let me get some of that. And they're going to talk about it soon in this short little video clip, but Robert Kiyosaki talks about it a lot in this book. You don't even know how much the fees are. They won't disclose them to you. So let me get this right. You took your money, you put it into a tool, but they won't tell you how much the fees are for managing your finances on your behalf. Now, we'll agree with one thing. Everyone has to be responsible for their own money and what they do with their money. I have to agree with that 1,000%. Oh, good job. Definitely. It's an amazing book. It keeps me up. It keeps me up. So you want to be aware. What's the alternative? Am I going to be stuck in this broken system that 60 Minutes is just laying out, that is completely not working? Am I going to do something different, or am I going to just follow along with this system? Try and find out what the fees are on your 401k. Try and find out what the fees are for managing the account in your IRA. See if they'll disclose that information to you on your money, on your account.
The primary source of retirement income for 60 million Americans were never designed to be retirement plans in the first place. They were created in the late 1970s as a savings plan and tax shelter for ordinary Americans. The idea was that workers would make voluntary contributions and employers would match a portion of them. The taxes would be deferred until the employee reached the age of 59 and a half. It was supposed to supplement the two traditional income streams for retirees, Social Security and pensions, one leg of a three-legged stool that would support American workers into their golden years. But it didn't turn out that way.
The three-legged stool, if you will, has gone to two legs, and it's wobbly, and it's wobbling, and I'm not sure that it's going to support anything. And that's the scary part, and people are afraid.
Brooks Hamilton has helped design retirement plans for some of the country's largest corporations. He says 401ks turned out to be so much cheaper than funding pensions that many companies decided to freeze their pension plans and replace them with 401ks. The decision created millions of new employee investors for Wall Street and the financial community, and they pounced on the opportunity.
If you go back and track the mutual fund growth in assets, and you track the growth in 401k plans, it looks like a railroad track leading to the sky. They are parallel tracks.
So the big beneficiaries were the mutual funds.
That's right. That's correct.
When employers began, he was not shy about promoting them as such. The prospect of trillions of dollars in the hands of unsophisticated investors opened the door for all sorts of potential abuses.
The fact is that the typical 401k investor is a financial novice. They don't know a stock from a line. And we give them a list of 20 or 30 mutual funds with really, really powerful names. You know, they sound like, gee, that's where I want to have my money.
What are generally the quality of the mutual funds and 401k plans?
Mediocre. I'm be real honest with you. With half the funds on the list, really dogs, what people would characterize as dogs, shouldn't be on the list to start with.
There clearly has been a raid on these funds by the people of Wall Street, and it's cost the savers and the future retirees a lot of money that would otherwise be in their account, independent of the financial collapse.
Representative George Miller of California is chairman of the House Committee on Education and Labor and a staunch critic of the 401k industry, especially its practice of deducting more than a dozen undisclosed fees from its clients' 401k accounts.
Now you got a bunch of economic wizards jumping in and taking money out of your retirement plan, and they don't want to tell you how much. You can't decipher it in simple English, and they're not interested in disclosing it or having any transparency about it.
And most of the people that look at their 401ks have no idea that these fees are being taken out.
No. Where would you find it? Where would you find these fees in this prospectus? You can look on any page you want, and when you're all done reading it, and you will find some of the fees and the commissions here, but you won't find them all, and I bet you won't find half of them.
There are legal fees, trustee fees, transactional fees, stewardship fees, bookkeeping fees, finder's fees, and the list goes on and on. Miller's committee has heard testimony that they can eat up half the income in some 401k plans over a 30-year span, but he has not been able to stop it.
We tried to just put in some disclosure and transparency in these fees, and we felt the full fury of that financial lobbying.
David Ray, a lobbyist for the 401k industry, says he favors disclosing the fees, but his partners in the financial industry don't.
You think most people know these fees exist?
I think they know that there are fees. They don't know exactly how large they are.
Why do you think the financial services industry is opposed to fee transparency?
I don't know that they're opposed to it. I think the issue is...
You don't think they're opposed to it?
Well, they want to keep...
You're a lobbyist in Washington, right? You know they're opposed to it. George Miller hasn't been able to get a bill to the floor.
I think they want to keep the systems as simple and not make changes. They like the way things are, and whenever you push people out of their comfort zones, it's an issue.
I mean, they're comfortable with the situation because they're making a ton of money, or they have made a ton of money.
Well, and their systems are set up in certain ways. This is going to be a big change.
We wanted to ask David Ray, who's been so bullish on 401k plans, one last question about what the future holds for people like Terry and Donna McNally and Kathleen Coleman, who you met at the beginning of Aspiration.
Opposed to it. George Miller hasn't been able to get a bill to the floor.
I think they want to keep the systems as simple and not make changes. They like the way things are, and whenever you push people out of their comfort zones, it's an issue.
I mean, they're comfortable with the situation because they're making a ton of money, or they have made a ton of money.
Well, and their systems are set up in certain ways. This is going to be a big change.
We wanted to ask David Ray, who's been so bullish on 401k plans, one last question about what the future holds for people like Terry and Donna McNally and Kathleen Coleman, who you met at the beginning of this story.
Dedicated, loyal, I can be there. There's nothing standing in my way. Thank you. Need a babysitter?
Most of the people that we've talked to are 50 and 60 years old,
right,
and have sustained these losses, say there is no way they're ever going to make them back.
Right.
Do you agree with that?
I think we have to be truth tellers. I think that when a person has hit this point, and we've had this unfortunate situation, I don't think we can misrepresent what the possibilities are.
And the reality is that money is not coming back that they've lost.
They can't count on it. They have to. Maybe they have maybe if they work 10 more years, it'll come back by the 10. But it's important that they not have unrealistic expectations.
For more information.
Whew. All right. What is my alternative? Get back with the person sharing this information with you. Get back with the person sharing this information with you. Like I said, that is a broken system. They said it multiple times that the system is broken, and they want to keep it the way it is. So part of what's going to help you is getting back with the person sharing this with you, and also taking time to become aware of what's going on, right? This book will help you become more aware. The Hidden Secrets of Money series will help you become more aware. At least listen to the first 10 episodes. I mean, my son is 18. I've had him listen to that multiple times, that series, so that he understands what real money is, so he understands the current system, and so that he's aware, so he can make better decisions than other people. So that system is broken, right? What is the alternative? What is the alternative? Blockchain technology is going to be part of the solution, and Gold Standard Partners is leading the way. We're active in over 120 countries already. We're not practicing on you. Already did a complete launch. Been in business for about 8 months. Millions of dollars of commissions have already been paid. People have become financially free because of this system. That's not even up for debate. One of our colleagues just got a $400,000 villa given to him as a bonus. And his wife got a $20,000 luxury watch as a bonus. They earned that in an incentive. This is this is them right here. They were, and he was the runner up. He didn't win the top or earn the top prize. The top prize was a $1 million villa. Mr. Brian Crumley took that. This gentleman right here, if you've never heard him speak, You definitely want to hear him speak. He speaks straight from the heart. And he was homeless a few years ago. Now he has earned a $1 million villa. And guess what? They deposited the money into his account. Blockchain technology. There's live videos of him having the $1 million in his account. There's a live video of my friend Crypto Steve with that $400,000 deposit in his account. The CEO, or excuse me, the chairman of Gold Standard Partners is not playing any games. He's been featured in a few different articles in Yahoo Finance. That's just one of his articles that he was in. Then that's another article in Yahoo Finance that they picked up. So you're going to hear about it more and more about the global solutions that we're bringing. You're just hearing it ahead of time with the person sharing this information with you. So you have an opportunity to be a first mover, have first mover's advantage still, even though we're 8 months in, right? Right? So get back with the person sharing this content with you. I know it was a little dense. I know it had a lot of content, okay? And that's what we needed to talk about tonight, right? Tomorrow, Mr. Ty Best is going to bring the fire. Okay, you want to be connected to our Wealth Worldwide team, and you want to get connected to our Freedom Call tomorrow night at 10 p.m. He's going to lay out some amazing points about this amazing system that we're already a part of, that we're taking part of and using and leveraging passive residual income. So no need to recruit. If you're not into recruiting, that's perfect, because we have a system in place where you can be a customer, you can amass wealth to yourself, but I would recommend being a partner so you can not just tap into the system, but share it with others and help others, okay? All right, guys, this is all I need to talk about for today, tonight, this afternoon. Get back with the person sharing this with you. We do have a free registration that's available for anybody under the sound of my voice. Get registered for free as a customer, and then we'll share with you all the other details if you decide to start getting paid in this amazing system. You can get paid in real time. There's no payroll department because we're using and harnessing blockchain technology. You can get paid today. You can get paid in a few hours. You can get paid however often you want to by helping other people, right? So if you're seeing this from me, you go straight to y1income.com and get your free registration completed. If you're seeing this from someone else sharing it with you, get back with that person. Say, hey, what is my alternative? How do I move forward, right? We did an amazing live webinar earlier today at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're seeing this on my Facebook page and you want full details, they're right there on my Facebook page for you. For those of you who are watching this on YouTube along with Periscope, go straight to y1income.com and then, or excuse me, Twitter. I keep saying Periscope because that's what I was active on, but they made a switch, so I had to switch with it, right? Got to adapt, right? All right, guys, thank you so much. We'll see you on the next live stream. Get back with the person sharing this information with you right away, okay? Thank you, guys.